Am I the a-hole for selling our family's vacation cabin after it was solely left to me in my grandmother's will? I, 34, female, am basically the family villain right now. This whole mess is about the cabin. It wasn't some fancy lakeside mansion, just a cozy, kinda old log cabin tucked away in the woods, about 3 hours from where we all live. My grandparents bought it back in the 70s, and it became like the heart of our family. Every summer, every big holiday, we were there. My grandma, bless her heart, was the one who held us all together. She handled everything. The complicated schedule that somehow fit everyone in, the small fixes, the huge food lists for holiday meals, and all the endless supplies you need for a house out in the middle of nowhere. We all just kind of figured it would stay in the family forever, passed down to be a shared thing for generations. I was super close to my grandma. After my grandpa died about 10 years ago, she had a tough time, so I naturally became her main helper. I drove her to tons of doctor's appointments, helped with groceries, kept track of her many medications, and just spent hours with her, listening to her stories, helping her sort grandpa's old stuff, and just being there. In those quiet moments, sipping tea at her place, she'd sometimes drop hints about stuff, like how expensive the cabin was getting, or all the invisible work it took to keep it running for everyone else to enjoy. Then, last year, Grandma passed away peacefully at 92, in her sleep. It was a huge loss for everyone, but for me, it felt like losing a piece of myself. When her will was read by the lawyer in his quiet office, it was a total bombshell for everyone there. She had left the cabin straight up to me. Just me. The legal words were clear as day, no mention of sharing it, no trust. The air after the lawyer finished felt so thick you could almost cut it. You could practically hear everyone gasp. Aunt Carol, who basically saw herself as the boss of all family traditions, looked at me with a mix of disbelief, anger, and like I'd stabbed her in the back. She cleared her throat, a little too loudly, and said, her voice sounding sickly sweet, "Well, of course, darling. We all know Grandma meant for it to be for everyone. This is just a technicality, I'm sure. We'll just set up a family trust. I guess to handle the upkeep and who uses it, with you as a main trustee, obviously." It wasn't a question. It was a firm order, said like it was the most obvious thing ever. Over the next few weeks, those suggestions turned into flat-out demands, a never-ending flood of how we should handle our new family cabin. Nobody asked if I was okay, if I was sad about Grandma, or if I even wanted to manage this. I love that cabin. It has so many great memories. But owning it, all by myself, instantly, turned it from a nostalgic happy place into a huge, scary money pit. I tried over and over, calmly, to talk to Aunt Carol, my parents, and even the more reasonable cousins. I started by saying how much I appreciated Grandma, and how much the cabin meant to me. Then I gently brought up the money stuff. I suggested we could maybe sell it, and maybe use some of the money to set up a smaller family fund for future get-togethers. The reaction was instant, raw, and totally blew up in my face. I explained my money problems repeatedly, trying to stay calm in the middle of the storm. I pointed out that if they really wanted to keep it in the family, there were ways. They could buy me out. I even suggested a fair price based on recent appraisals. After weeks of increasingly angry arguments, passive-aggressive comments, hidden threats of being cut off from the family, and plain old emotional manipulation, I made the decision.